You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. She's so unpopular. Video analysis. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I know that you find an analysis of video footage very useful in helping you understand the behaviours of Harry's wife or other narcissists, and of course extending your knowledge about narcissism more generally. So I have a further video which I have dissected to help you understand her behaviours. It comes from somebody's wedding. I don't know whose wedding it is. I don't really care. I'm sure you'll appraise me of whose wedding it is in the comments section should you hold that information. What's important is what's going on. The wedding in question had been uploaded to somebody's TikTok account, and you can see by the handle of it and the fact that they put in the title flashback to the power couple, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, that not only does this individual not know how to spell, but they're clearly a sugar, giving it that kind of title. Well, irrespective of that, it also shows again what an absolute dunderhead this particular sugar is, because the footage demonstrates her lack of popularity, as I'm going to demonstrate to you now. As always, I'm going to play you the relevant excerpt and then dissect it for you. Here we go. You've seen, first of all, Harry arriving at the church in his morning dress. It might well be the speed at which he moves that he needs the toilet, and given the fact that he has previous toiletry mishaps, it may well be the case that he is conscious of wetting his morning suit, and therefore he fair old moves at a pace through the churchyard to get into the church. Next, along comes a spider, and yes, Harry's wife appears. You can hear from the audio the press pack with the cameras taking various pictures of her, and they're trying to get her to turn as she walks in, accompanied by another lady. Notice that nobody, apart from the press, is paying her any attention whatsoever. The calling of the press, of course, provides her with some tertiary fuel, but the fact that nobody else is coming over and gushing over her wounds her. So she has a mixed bag, whereby she's receiving some fuel from the press, but the fact that other guests, who she may or may not know, therefore they're either tertiary or secondary sources, aren't dealing with her, aren't acknowledging her, wounds. This is exemplified when, as she walks along with the lady, a man greets this lady, giving her the old double-cheek kiss, and he doesn't even acknowledge, let alone greet Harry's wife. She's left out in the cold. Of course, this will wound her, whether he's a tertiary or secondary source. The fact that he has no acknowledgement of her whatsoever wounds her, making her feel unimportant. She can't go over and grab him by the balls and say, "Hoi, talk to me, big boy, or else." Her facade prevents that from happening. She can't turn to the lady that she's next to and say, "Gosh, isn't he a rude little fucker?" Because, of course, she's engaging with that man, and he'd overhear her saying that, which would, of course, damage the facade. And therefore, what Harry's wife has to do is jettison the thought of him by basically thinking to herself how rude he is, and in so doing, stays in a position of withdrawal from him. Although we can't see from this distance, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a lot of eye flickering going on in the usual way that she blinks a lot. If you want to know why that is, see parts past him about why she blinks so much. On with the next section. You then see that Harry's wife turns and smiles and waves. So she responds to people shouting out her name, and of course, the smile is a consequence of the fuel that she has received. There's a group of men and women at the entrance to the church, and largely none of them pay her any attention, given the fact that she is either at this juncture the Duchess of Sussex. She would, of course, be expecting in her mind that everybody's thinking, oh, wow, it's Harry's wife. How fantastic. We're meeting her. Aren't we blessed to be on the same earth as her? But as it is, there's only one woman that turns and greets her and one man that turns and greets her. The rest act as if they've no idea who she is, which shows, of course, the fact that she wasn't particularly popular amongst this group, which I'm presuming is somebody that Harry knows and is his group of friends, and basically they think, oh, she's turned up, has she? Because, of course, we know that she wasn't particularly popular with Harry's friends as a consequence of the information that Tom Bower imparted, where his friends thought that she was nuts as a consequence of her PC and woke attitude towards their weekend away. Accordingly, she receives some fuel from the lady and the man, who are tertiary or secondary sources, but as for the rest of the individuals, they wound her as they fail to acknowledge her. And remember, in her world, she is the marvellous Harry's wife, queen of wokedom, empress of all things empathic, and that all of these mere minions and peasants ought to be bowing down before her and recognising her, and the fact that they don't is problematic. Naturally, again, she's not going to yank the women's hair and saying, pay attention to me, or hoof the men in the ghoulies to ensure that they react to her. The facade management will prevent that from happening. Furthermore, she hasn't got anybody that she can smear them to. Harry's left her behind. He's run off ahead. And, of course, therefore, she has to stay in a position of thinking to herself, mere peasants, don't they know who I am? As a means of maintaining that subconscious control. Of course, her banter isn't up to much, because it doesn't take long before the man and woman who spoke to her are talking amongst themselves, and she's kind of hovering at the entrance, looking around for somebody to talk to, and nobody's offering anything because they clearly don't like her. And then they start to move forwards towards the church to go inside. The event concludes, showing Harry and Harry's wife emerging after presumably the wedding. But they come into the sunshine. And of course you'll see that of all of the guests gathered outside, nobody is bothering with them. Nobody wants to say hello or goodbye to them. They're preoccupied with other matters. All of which, of course, provides wounding to Harry's wife because she's being ignored. You can hear the press pack again, the shutters clicking, but Harry leads her away. Notice, of course, the grip of doom is in evidence as she clings on to Harry's hand as a means of asserting control over him as the intimate partner primary source. But off they go through the churchyard, making their escape, wearing their shades, but nobody much paying them any attention. It seems to me that this was very much an event that involved Harry's friends that they were attending, and that many of the people there couldn't give two figs about her because she's not a popular individual. And despite the Sugars' attempt to suggest that they're a power couple, this underpins the fact that people simply don't like her, given the fact that nobody's flocking around her and only a couple of people actually acknowledged her and greeted her. She was repeatedly wounded during this appearance as she attended the church. She received fuel alongside all of that, but it demonstrates that she's not the popular individual that her deluded mind believes that she is. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.